Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. This is my Conscious Eating, Conscious Living Facebook chat. I'm Ann Metcalf, and today's topic is one that kind of led me down a rabbit hole, and something that came across the social media feeds was about ear infections and baby formula. And I'm going, okay, what was that? So I did a little bit of research, and I always encourage you to do your own. There's so much more out there. One, that we haven't been told. Two, science is continually changing. And three, what works for you. So, what is this? So, we're looking at a closer look at infections, the feeding options, and what works for you and your baby. Well, over 40 years ago, as a parent, one of the first decisions I made was to breastfeed our two kids for at least 6 months because I had heard that that was a good amount of time to give them that natural immunity that they can get through mother's milk. And it's not always an easy choice, and there's a lot of information out there to sift through. And after doing some research on the impact of breastfeeding and formula feeding and learning about the link between ear infections and feeding choices, I thought I'd share what I learned to help other parents in the same boat. Um, I had chronic ear infections as a kid, and all my siblings and myself were all bottle fed. And, so I'm going, okay, is there a link between that formula? Now, mind you, that formula was, 74 years ago. And what was in that formula and what's in it now is probably quite different. So, breastfeeding is praised for its many benefits, including boosting the baby's immune system. Breast milk contains antibodies and essential nutrients that help protect babies from infections, including ear infections. Studies show that breastfed babies are less likely to suffer from ear infections in the first year, which is a huge benefit for the baby and the parents. And breastfeeding also promotes bonding and offers convenience as you don't have to worry about bottles or preparing formula on the go. And however, breastfeeding isn't always an option for everyone, and that's okay. Some parents face challenges like low milk supply, work schedules, or personal preferences. And formula feeding, while lacking some of the immune boosting properties of breast milk, can still provide necessary nutrition for babies to grow and thrive. And quite often, it's that the bonding um, that you can create, even with the bottle. Many formulas are designed to closely mimic breast milk and support healthy development in infants. And I was a bit curious about uh, how is that done. And when it comes to formulas, many modern options are designed to closely mimic breast milk, containing a blend of proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals that support healthy growth and development. Key ingredients in the formulas include lactose or other sugars, essential fatty acids, DHA for brain development, and prebiotics to support gut health, which we know is so important. And they're learning more and more as the years go by and how important that gut health is to babies and to us as adults. So I'm going, okay, what's in baby formula? Well, there's protein, and that's cow's milk protein, or can be an isolated soy protein. There is casein proteins can make the babies feel full, but they can also be harder to digest. The fat is vegetable oil or a blend of fats and oils that provide fatty acids like DHA, which is an omega-3 fatty acid that's important for the brain and eye development. There's carbohydrates, lactose from milk or corn syrup solids. And lactose isn't suitable for babies with milk allergies, so that is another issue of discernment. Where is the where's that allergy coming from? There's often iron in it, which prevents iron deficiency, anemia, and there's vitamins and minerals, and they can provide all the baby's nutritional needs until they're 4 to 6 months old. And after 6 months, You bring in the mashed whole, you know, sweet potato and all the other foods that they're giving to babies at a much earlier age. So my concern, I guess, with this formula is the cow's milk, the soy, the vegetable oil, and the corn syrup solid. Are they all coming from organic sources? Because we know that that is really, really important. And, are some of the allergies that kids are getting, is it from the pesticides or the overuse of certain fertilizers in the soil? Because the plant uptakes everything and we get it all. And our body, our gut microbiome, has to learn to figure out how do I digest this? So, do your research. What vegetable oil is it? What is the oil? And is that okay with you or not? And so that's why I invite you. You be your own scientist and check things out. The other ingredients, I say, it's called HMO, and it's human milk oligosaccharide and ara- arachidonic acid (ARA), or sometimes carrageenan. And the HMOs are for supplementing infant formula, are produced using engineered suitable host strains such as Escherichia coli, Corynebacterium glutamicum, or Saccharomyces cerevisiae as cell factories for producing that, and then they put that into the formula. So there's a link there. That's very interesting research on all of that. And we know that mother's milk is unique living fluid that adapts to the baby's needs. In 2016, Abbott had the US launch of its infinite formula containing this 2-FL HMO. It was the first company in the world to launch an HMO containing formula. And of all the HMOs, and there are many, the most abundant is this 2 hyphen, let's see, fucoselectose 2FL, which is also one of the smallest, comprising just 3 molecules. And the something to also consider is that powdered infant formula is not sterile, which means it may contain low levels of bacteria. And these bacteria very rarely cause illness in babies when the formula is prepared or even when it's prepared and stored correctly. And one of the key factors to consider is that formula fed babies may have a slightly higher risk of ear infections, especially in the first 6 to 12 months. And this may be due to the fact that babies who drink from bottles rather than breastfeeding tend to swallow more air, which can increase the likelihood of ear infections. On the plus side, formula feeding offers flexibility, allowing other caregivers to step in and help with feeding. And it also, parents can track, how much their baby is eating. Ultimately, there's no one size fits all kind of answer when it comes to feeding choices. Whether you choose breastfeeding or formula feeding or a combination of both, the goal is to ensure your baby's getting the nutrition they need and that both of you are comfortable with that decision and your baby is thriving. Whatever path you take, whatever matters most is your baby's health and happiness. Remember to do your own research. Be curious. Ask what is in the formula and why is it in there? And these days, organic does matter because there aren't the pesticides present that cause issues. Know what you're eating and what you're feeding your family. And so my childhood ear infections, they could have been started with formula and continued with a milk allergy. I don't know. And what was in formula 74 years ago? I don't have no idea. And it's interesting that I was the only one out of 7 kids that had that whole hearing and ear infection issue that finally did resolve itself um, when I was a teenager and then resulted in ear surgery, 2 ear surgeries to repair all the damage from the inflammation inside, so that the hammer and the anvil, and the stirrup that's in the inner ear weren't talking to each other, and they weren't sending that message to the brain. So the surgery did help, but it's always not always long lasting. But I am so grateful that I have the hearing I have now. And so I thank you for joining me today on this Facebook chat. And um, you can always check my Authentic Sacred Design, where I have 4 pillars of body, mind, spirit, and the earth. Lots of healthy eating choices. There's new recipes that come on the Friday Food Gems in the app, where you can try out lots of recipes. A lot of them are Ayurvedic, um, proper food combining. Some aren't. Some are just ones that, you know what, they're yummy. And uh, they help feed my gut bacteria, keep me healthy. And yes, so, and just, I'd love your comments on the Facebook page or YouTube. And just have a marvelous day. Smile. Because remember those smiles when I do my laughter yoga each morning, that increases those feel good hormones, which we want more of, to help co create that peace within ourselves and peace within the world and the all universe. So, namaste, and just have a wonderful day with your friends, your family. Get outdoors, because they know that being outdoors is one of the healthiest things you can do. All that fresh air. So go for it, people. Healthy living. I love you all.